Good afternoon again, folks. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to make scrambled tofu egg. And as you know, I like recipes that are simple and ones that will pass the kid taste test. So when we tried this on the kids, they didn't know the difference and they wanted more. Okay, so this is a simple recipe, and some of you have asked me, actually people ask you all the time when you don't eat meat, they say, well, what do you eat? Just tofu? And then if you say yes, they say, oh, I hate tofu. And that's usually because they've opened a packet and they've taken a slice off it and they've eaten it and they've thought, that tastes awful. And it does, okay? So you've got to prepare tofu in a way that tastes nice. This is just the base, and then it's what you do to it that actually makes it taste good. So today I'm going to show you a recipe that tastes good and is simple, using one pan. So it's not the order that it's in your recipe, but this part takes the longest, and it's frying the onions. Now, last time when I showed you how to fry an onion, you probably don't need me to show you that again. The difference here is that this onion is finely chopped, has to be very finely chopped, and it has to be very well cooked. Not burnt, yeah, just very well cooked. So I'm going to get that going now. I have partially started cooking it because it takes probably about 8 to 10 minutes to cook this onion properly. Okay, so finely chopped, and I've just got it partly cooked, as I said. Yeah, so you see that in there, and we'll just keep an eye on that as we do all our other bits and pieces. Okay, once you've got that going, because it does take a wee while, we're going to do the messy part of our demonstration today. I did consider doing this out the back, but I thought you may as well see how it really is. Okay, so firstly what I'm going to do is open this. This is your tofu. There's a number of different kinds of tofu you can get. Today I'm using the Tonzu one, but I also like the Bean Supreme one. I think that's a very good tofu as well. It comes in a packet, shrink wrapped like this. It's made out of soya beans. Okay, and soya beans are great because they're a complete protein as well. Now, to open it without cutting your finger off, just slide the knife, hopefully it's a good knife, down there. And you see I've made a mess on the bench already. I should have done it in here. That's why I brought this out. And the first thing you do is you drain your tofu, because it comes in a liquid. Now, what I usually do at home on a board is I just get the whole thing and chop it in half, because I don't care about making a mess. But here today, just to avoid the embarrassment, I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to tip it out into this little bowl here. And you'll see that in the bottom of that is some liquid that it's stored in. I'm not sure if you can see that on your screen. You see that in the bottom of the bowl, there's some liquid. Some of them are more liquidy than others. Okay. Now, the messy part continues. I'll put this glove on for the next part. Just need to keep that moving. Don't want to burn that. Some gloves are easier to put on than others. Down a touch. Okay, so in a bowl here, I'm going to take the tofu that I've drained in here, and I'm just going to break it up kind of like you would imagine scrambled egg is. A few chunks, a few bits that are not so chunky. Just crush it like that. You can break it up a little bit more in your pan if you think that you haven't mushed it up enough. Okay, so that's kind of how, if you did do scrambled egg, how it might come out on your plate. I'll take these off. That's that done. Okay, now I've done that in my pan. That onion is kind of about cooked now. I've got half a teaspoon of turmeric, and I've also got half a teaspoon of salt. Today I'm using what they call black salt, which they say tastes a little bit more like egg. I don't know, but that's what I'm using. You can use ordinary salt. Don't go overboard on what kind of salt it is. It's called black salt, so I'm just going to tip that in here. Now I always add the salt when I'm cooking my onions or when they're nearly cooked. And the reason for that is because I sometimes am a bit forgetful. And if I forget, then the recipe obviously doesn't taste very good. The turmeric I'm adding now because you want to kind of just burn the turmeric off a bit, not burn it, I mean cook it. Yeah, it has a very strong flavour, and if you don't cook it a little bit in your pan first, that very strong flavour kind of taints the whole recipe. So you want to just get the benefit of the nice taste of it and not too strong. So cook that for about a minute. The other reason I add it now is because it has a yellowy colour, and if I add it at the start, then it'll make me think that my onions are cooked when really they're not. Okay, so just give that a little bit of a stir around, just keep it moving. Okay, now I'm going to add the tofu in. Going to add 1/3 of a cup of milk. Here's my
That's how you make that.
Yes.
How many is that? How many people is that for?
It depends how hungry you are. Sorry. It should be for, I don't know, 3 people maybe? Yeah. But I've got a teenage boy, so, you know, take your chances. Then I'm going to add a little bit of Massels chicken stock powder. So what have I said there? About half a teaspoon? Yeah, about that. And I've got 2 teaspoons of vegan butter. Now you can use any kind of vegan butter. It's really just to give it a creamy taste. Some people like to use cashew butter. You can buy them in those little containers. They're quite expensive. Today I've just got vegan butter here from the refrigerated section at Countdown. Just get the rest of that off there. Well, I can tell you what's in it. This is the one here. Organic vegan block. There you go. But you could add, you know, sort of, I'll tell you what's in it. It's got organic shea butter, water, organic coconut oil, rapeseed, salt, organic almond butter, carrot juice, lemon juice, vitamin D, natural flavouring. So the carrot juice will be just to give it a bit of buttery kind of colour. Yeah. But that's what we're using today. So I'm just going to melt that through there. Get that going. Now some people like the egg a little bit wetter. Some people like it dry. You can see now that's starting to look a lot like scrambled egg. So you just keep that going for a few more minutes. If there's any big chunks, you can kind of break that up a bit. Just keep it moving. Now, of course, that's probably about done, just like that. If you like it to sort of have a more fried look, you can keep it going a bit longer. And then what I would do is I would get just a little bit of something to decorate it. And here I've got a little bit of parsley and chopped capsicum. And I would just kind of sprinkle that on top like that. And maybe a dash of tomato pulp, or you can chop tomato on it just to give it wrap this up really well. There you go. And I'm not sure if you can see that there. Is that in the picture? There you go, and there's your scrambled eggs. And on toast, that's a nice meal. Yeah, doesn't take too long, one dish, lots of protein, not very expensive. You know, this was, I think about $3.50. Yeah, so, you know, you've got a pan of scrambled tofu egg.
If you just eat half, will it keep in the fridge for the next day?
Yeah, look, it will keep till the next day. I wouldn't, I wouldn't keep it in there for, you know, ages and ages. But generally, the idea is you open it, you eat it. But you know, it'll probably keep for the next day. That'd be fine. Yeah, in the fridge. Okay, there you go. That's scrambled egg.